What's up, Vital Community? It's your boy Chris coming at you live as always from the Man Cave. Wanted to take some time this late Sunday night, actually probably early Monday morning, but I'm going to cheat. I'm going to call it Sunday night anyway, and introduce to you guys a new thing I want to do, and I'm going to call it Sunday Night Scotch. 5 albums I just feel like talking about. So, of course, on this Sunday night, got myself a good glass of scotch. Got 5 albums over here to the side that I just feel like talking about. And we're going to roll with that. So, first things first. Johnny Cash, American Recordings. And the reason I just feel like talking about this is for several things. Number one, this is an original pressing of this album, and I found it in my birth town in the greatest city in the United States of America, Charleston, South Carolina. The birth of the Man Cave, if you will. Anyway, Monster Music is a record store in Charleston, South Carolina, and I'm there. First time I'd ever been there, browsing around. Found a couple of things, nothing overwhelmed me. Then I look up on the holy shit wall, and there this is. There's this, as well as Volume 2. I bought both. The shit that was in my hands, I put that shit back. I put that back. I walked up out of that store with Volume 1 and Volume 2 of American Recordings, $35 a piece. I was thrilled. This album was so miraculous about me. I was about this is I was talking to a good buddy of mine. I was talking to my good friend Mike, Guitar Player 07. Shout out to you, Mike. Cheers if you're watching. I know you are. You say you watch all my videos, so I know you are. Cheers, my friend. Earlier today about how in terms of the 20th century, the 80s is probably my least favorite decade for music. And it blew his mind because I was born in 1985. I was born January 1985. And I think it just blew his mind that for somebody like me who, was born in the mid-80s and participated in the 80s, could think that about a decade. Well, the reason I told him my reasoning for feeling that way was the decade was so goddamn inconsistent. It just is. It's just inconsistent. Everybody's trying new things. So many of my favorite artists had such bad decades. Bowie put out a bunch of garbage. Outside of Let's Dance. Let's Dance is a good album. Everything else Bowie put out in the 80s is garbage. Everything my man Johnny Cash put out in the 80s is garbage. Bob Dylan, oh my God, dumpster fire. Terrible. Put out some bullshit in the 80s. The Rolling Stones, not quite as bad as a couple of the other guys that I just mentioned, but not their best decade either. Please don't make me remind you about Dancing on the Ceiling. Please don't. Going out around the world, are you ready for a No. Oh, God. We need to all have that stricken from our memory. Terrible collaboration by a couple of guys trying too hard to fit into a decade, into the way things just so happened to be at the time. And it didn't work. I know the song charted. I know they made money. But it's not just that song. It's just these guys were all out of their lane. They tried a bunch of shit. They threw a bunch of shit against the wall and it just didn't work. That's just my honest opinion. But things weren't looking good for my buddy J.R. Cash. Things weren't looking great. And of course, 50s, 60s, 70s, all great. 80s, not so much. So this album, produced by Rick Rubin, as all the American recording sessions are. They came out in 1994. Was his comeback, if you will. And what a great creative late career spark it was. So, awesome stuff. forever grateful for this album. Forever grateful for Johnny Cash hooking up with Rick Rubin. And if this album doesn't have you on the very first track, Delia's Gone. Delia's gone. One more round. Delia's gone. Breathtaking. So good. I gotta get rid of these sleeves. I hate this. This is the sleeve that this album came with. My buddy Black Cat Records, if you're watching, I know you love these sleeves, and you gave me a good reason why you love them. I hate these damn things. I gotta get rid of that shit. I'm getting ready to get rid of that in a minute. It's terrible. Yeah. Next up. Record I just feel like talking about. The main reason I just feel like talking about it is because I just watched Pulp Fiction not too long ago. And for those of you who are familiar with Pulp Fiction, you know that the Dusty Springfield song "Son of a Preacher Man" is in that movie. For those of you who really pay attention to the music and whatnot, I love "Son of a Preacher Man." Such a brilliant song, and I had heard it obviously earlier in my life, and don't mean this any kind of way, but I just always assumed when I was a young boy, I thought maybe that's Aretha Franklin, or maybe that's Mavis Staples, or somebody like that, because that voice just did not sound like it belonged to a skinny white British lady. It didn't seem right to me. It did not seem like that was going to be the case. But I'll be damned. When I finally did find out that that was the case, I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. But it's awesome. And this is not an original pressing. This is my Analog Productions 45 RPM audio file reissue. Because I had just gotten tired of holding out for an original pressing. A couple of months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, I'm with a buddy of mine in a record store in Charlotte, and I'm looking through the jazz section. He's looking through the soul section, because I went to the new arrivals, then I went to jazz. He goes straight down, new arrivals, rock, jazz, rock, soul, that's the way he goes. And he stumbles upon an original pressing of this, and it's immaculate, and he buys it. Yeah. Obviously, I'd rather have the original press any day of the week. You guys know how I wag and wheel. I am an original pressing guy. But that's not to downplay how phenomenal this one sounds. This is a great sounding record. So good. It's Dusty Springfield and that Memphis sound, and it's just immaculate all the way around, and it's a must-have really. Released originally in 1969, if I'm not mistaken, on Atlantic. And if you're a fan of soul music, a must-have. I don't think I'm telling you guys anything you don't know. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you're going to know that album. But if you don't know it, if you don't know it, and you don't have it, you're not familiar with it, then jump on it. Anyway, next up, third album I'm going to talk about with you guys. Is one of my all-time favorite live jazz albums. You guys have watched me talk about my affinity for live jazz albums a couple times at least. I did an entire video dedicated to my affinity for live jazz albums. It's Kenny Dorham's Round About Midnight at the Cafe Bohemia. Blue Note. Obviously, you guys know how I wag and wheel. Recent goal of mine to get everything Kenny Dorham ever played on. I'm coming along. This album is phenomenal. It's Kenny Dorham on the trumpet, J.R. Monteros on the tenor sax, Kenny Burrell on the guitar, Bobby Timmons on the piano, one of the great underrated jazz pianists of all time, no doubt about it, Sam Jones on the bass, and Arthur Edgehill on the drums. It is incredible. It just is an amazing live recording. And I highly recommend it to anybody. Beautiful. Look at the use of colors in the cover. Beautiful. And it just, if it even, all you'd have to know is, Blue Note. And then you look at that cover and you're like, you'd be honest with you, you don't have to know Blue Note. Just take a look at that cover. You're like, this guy means business. This record's going to be good. At least that's my opinion. I don't know. I really take a look at album covers. I have bought, I can't even begin to tell you how many albums just based on their album covers. This is not one of them. I was more than familiar with who Kenny Dorham was when I bought this album, but still. So good. Kenny's solo number, Autumn in New York, here really shines. So many great moments. I can't remember the exact release year of this one. All I know is it's awesome. And you've got to get it into your life. Ba-da-ba-ba. So good. Next up, album I feel like talking about real quick. I was on Scotch on Sunday. 5 albums I just feel like talking about. This is going to be one that I'm sure most of you guys have never heard of. Hootin' and Tootin', Fred Jackson. And this is my original mono press. It is, oh my God, out of this world clean. No split seams. No nothing like that. It is gorgeous. It's got Fred Jackson on the tenor, Earl Van Dyke on the organ, Willie Jones on the guitar, and Wilbert Hogan on the drums. It is a phenomenal album. So good, so soulful. BLP 4094, original mono pressing. Of course, you guys already know, Full Treatment. New York, USA labels. So good. This is an underappreciated masterpiece. I got an opportunity to have this from a place, Slow Low Vinyl Records, I can't remember. But it's a record store from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Recommended to me by my buddy Dylan at Noble Records, who had sent me the direct link to this. It was like, hey, this guy's selling some real, good stuff right now online. You should get on it. And I went and he had this for sale. He had a couple of Miles for sale. He had a couple of Coltrane's for sale. But those I had, but I didn't have this. I had never, I knew what this was, but I'd never seen it before. So I was all over it, and especially for the reasonable price that he sold it for. On the back, very interesting. It's got review copy. So, I don't know if that's like the equivalent to a promo copy. I'm not quite 100% sure. But I do know that this is a phenomenal album. Phenomenal album. And I highly recommend it to any of you guys. Fred Jackson. Hootin' into. Last but not least, I'm going to go rock and roll here. Going to go a little psychedelic rock and roll. Psychedelic-ish rock and roll. Fear Itself. See, cover of the album. Very interesting. The album was sold to me and described to me by my buddy Dylan. I'm sure you guys are shocked. Not really. As think Jimi Hendrix meets Janis Joplin. And I'm like, okay, well, I love Jimmy, I love Janis, so bam, there you go, you got me. And I completely reasonable price for the album, and so I grabbed it. I jumped on it. Couldn't help myself, I had to. And its song, No Dot, original stereo press, phenomenal record. Guys, this album will melt your face and get into your soul because, one, the licks on this are sick. It's a great psychedelic record. Plus, this woman can sing her ass off. It's insane. Lead singer's name. Ellen McElwain, I think. God. Sometimes I think I shouldn't be so spontaneous in doing these videos. I should actually look into it a little bit. But I think that's what it is. But either way about it, I'll tell you. Just look up Fear Itself, and you'll find out the rest. This album is insane. It is sick. It is incredibly good. And let's just say you'll thank me later. It is, you know, and it's not that expensive. Is the best thing about it. You can get an original press for relatively reasonable. It's not something you're gonna, oh my God, break the bank for. And then once you've heard this, you're gonna want to hear, you know, her solo stuff, because she has a couple of solo records. They're good. I've been trying to find, you know, one in, you know, a couple in a good condition for a good price. And yeah, Fear Itself. Get yourself a copy. Jump on it. All right, so that wraps up my Scotch on Sunday 5 records I just felt like talking about. I'm probably going to do that, like, let's say once a month. Maybe twice a month. I don't know. Who knows? And, hey, why not? As long as I've got Scotch in my cabinet and records on my shelves, and you guys know that I'll always have both. So, hey, why not? For those of you, my 500 subscribers, Tonto Jump On It contest, I've got 3 entries so far by Norman Masloff, by Vinyl. Oh man, yeah, I got the link. If you go on my homepage, scroll down, 3 videos so far. My boy Dylan, Noble Records, Norman Masloff. Yeah, it's great stuff, and 3 entries so far, and I think like 19 days to go. So guys, hurry up. Tonto, jump on it. Jump on it. Get your entries in. I can't wait to see what all you guys come up with. I can't wait to announce a winner. I can't wait to thank you guys for all of the support that you've given me. And yeah, just keep getting those entries in, you guys. I'm going to keep posting them on my homepage. For those of you guys who look at my videos on your laptop, go to my homepage. I got a link down there at the very bottom where I'm going to show every single video that has been submitted for the Tunes from the Man Cave, Tonto Jump On It, 500 subscribers contest. So, until next time, until next video, could be tomorrow, could be a few days from now, who knows. Keep dropping that needle, you guys.
Wakey, 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 wakey. Come to daddy. Mama, come to your father. Come to daddy, please, mother. Run. Come to your daddy. Come to your father. Ramona, come to daddy. What are you doing? What are you doing? No. No. Come to your daddy.
No.
Please.
No.
Pretty please.
No.
Pretty please. Pretty please with sugar on top. No. I love you. Ooh.